The idea of self-mastery has fascinated humanity for centuries. Philosophers, warriors, monks, and thinkers have all pursued one essential question: how can I rule myself before I attempt to rule the world? Among all the ancient philosophies, Stoicism offers one of the most profound and practical answers. It is not about cold detachment or suppressing emotions, as some misunderstand it. Rather, it is about achieving harmony within oneself, to live with clarity, strength, and purpose, no matter what happens externally. The Stoics believed that a person who cannot master their emotions, desires, and impulses is a slave, even if they sit on a throne. Conversely, someone who has disciplined their mind is free, even if imprisoned. This is the essence of the Stoic path to self-mastery. The essence of Stoicism. Stoicism began in ancient Greece around 300 BCE, founded by Zeno of Citium, and was later developed by great thinkers such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. At its core, Stoicism teaches that we cannot control external events, only our reactions to them. The world is unpredictable and often unfair, but our power lies in how we respond to its chaos. The Stoics divided life into two domains: what we can control, our thoughts, judgments, choices, and actions. What we cannot control, everything else, other people's opinions, the weather, fortune, fame, and even our body's health at times. Self-mastery, therefore, begins with mastering perception, learning to distinguish between what lies within our power and what does not. This simple yet profound distinction is the cornerstone of Stoic wisdom, the nature of self-mastery. To master oneself means to become the ruler of your inner world. It does not mean you eliminate emotion or desire, but rather that you govern them intelligently. Emotions, for the Stoics, are not enemies. They are signals. But if left unchecked, they can overthrow reason. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self-mastery involves aligning one's will with reason, to make choices based not on impulse but on wisdom. A Stoic does not seek to destroy their humanity, they aim to elevate it. Through discipline and reflection, one transforms passions into purpose. The four virtues of Stoic mastery. Stoicism rests upon four cardinal virtues, pillars of inner strength that guide one towards self-mastery: wisdom, knowing what is good, bad, and indifferent. Wisdom helps one see reality clearly, unclouded by emotion or illusion. Courage, the ability to act rightly despite fear, hardship, or uncertainty. Justice, treating others fairly and living in harmony with society. Temperance, moderation in desire and action, preventing extremes of pleasure or pain. Each of these virtues builds upon the others. Wisdom without courage is useless. Courage without temperance becomes recklessness. Justice without wisdom can be blind. Self-mastery, therefore, is the integration of all four virtues, the balance of intellect, will, emotion, and action. The role of reason and emotion. The Stoics did not deny emotion. They simply believed that emotion should not govern reason. Emotions arise from judgments. If our judgments are false, our emotions become destructive. For example, anger often arises when we believe we've been wronged, but if we examine it rationally, we may find that the offense was not worth our peace. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This line captures the Stoic heart of self-mastery. By recognizing that our inner thoughts are the true source of peace or suffering, we reclaim control over ourselves. The challenge of modern life. Although Stoicism is ancient, its teachings are more relevant today than ever. We live in a world of constant distraction. Notifications, opinions, noise, and desires competing for attention. The modern human is often at war within, seeking validation, fearing rejection, and chasing pleasure without purpose. The Stoic path offers a remedy: to live intentionally, to control one's reactions, and to find peace not in possessions or praise, but in virtue and reason. In an age of emotional reactivity, Stoicism teaches the art of emotional sovereignty. The journey ahead. Self-mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. No one arrives at complete control. Even the Stoic masters admitted to failing at times. Marcus Aurelius often wrote in his journal about moments of anger, fatigue, and doubt. What makes a Stoic is not perfection, but the commitment to improvement. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The Stoic path helps us replace fear with focus, anxiety with acceptance, and weakness with wisdom. It is a training of the soul, a gradual transformation from chaos to order, from reaction to reflection, from slavery to freedom, the timeless quest for inner dominion. Since the dawn of civilization, human beings have sought to master not only the world around them, but also themselves. Conquerors have built empires, scientists have unlocked the mysteries of nature, and philosophers have explored the depths of the mind. Yet one of the greatest and most elusive victories has always been self-mastery. The ability to govern one's thoughts, emotions, and actions with wisdom and clarity. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome understood this truth better than most. They believed that real power lies not in wealth, titles, or fame, but in the ability to remain calm and virtuous in the face of life's unpredictable storms. For the Stoic, the true battlefield is not external, it is within. As Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." These words reveal a deep insight. Even if you own everything in the world, you remain a prisoner if your emotions, desires, and fears control you. Conversely, if you can govern your own mind, you are free, even in chains. This is the central paradox of Stoicism and the foundation of self-mastery. What is Stoicism, really? Stoicism was founded around 300 BCE by Zeno of Citium, who taught his students in the painted porch of Athens, the Stoa Poikile, from which the philosophy gets its name. It was later developed by other great minds, including Cleanthes, Chrysippus, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome. At its core, Stoicism teaches one essential truth: we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. Everything outside of us, the opinions of others, the weather, fortune, fame, or even death, is beyond our control. The Stoics called these things externals. What lies within our control are our own thoughts, judgments, intentions, and actions. To the Stoic, happiness and peace come not from changing the world, but from changing ourselves. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This sentence could be considered the ultimate summary of Stoic philosophy, the meaning of self-mastery in the Stoic sense. To master yourself is to become the ruler of your inner kingdom. It does not mean suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected by life's challenges. Rather, it means understanding your emotions, directing them intelligently, and choosing your responses consciously. Anger, fear, sadness, and desire are not inherently bad. They are natural human impulses. The problem arises when these impulses take command of our reasoning. The Stoic path teaches us to keep reason on the throne and emotion as a loyal servant. Not a tyrant. Epictetus once compared life to a ship voyage. The captain cannot control the wind or the sea, but he can control how he steers the ship. Likewise, we cannot control life's circumstances, but we can navigate them with wisdom, courage, and discipline. The 4 pillars of Stoic self-mastery. The Stoic path is built upon 4 cardinal virtues. These are not merely abstract ideals, they are practical tools for living wisely and mastering oneself. Wisdom, Sophia. Wisdom is the ability to see things as they truly are. not as we wish or fear them to be. It allows us to make clear judgments, distinguish between what matters and what doesn't, and act in accordance with truth. A wise person is not deceived by appearances or driven by impulses. Wisdom is also about recognizing what is up to us and what is not. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, and it is the foundation of all rational living courage. Andrea. Courage is the strength to act rightly in the face of fear, pain, or loss. It is not the absence of fear, but the decision that something else is more important than fear. The Stoics admired courage because life constantly presents adversity, and without bravery, we cannot live with virtue. Courage in Stoicism is not just for warriors on the battlefield. It is for anyone facing illness, poverty, grief, or the challenges of moral integrity. Justice, dikaiosine. Justice is the virtue of living harmoniously with others, treating people fairly, fulfilling our duties, and acting for the good of the whole. The Stoics believed that we are all citizens of a universal city, a cosmopolis. Thus, true self-mastery cannot exist in isolation. It involves moral responsibility toward others. Temperance, sophrosine. Temperance, or self-control, is the art of balance. It is the ability to restrain impulses, to avoid excess, and to live with moderation. The temperate person enjoys pleasures without being enslaved by them. This virtue is the essence of self-discipline to use desire, not be used by it. When these four virtues are cultivated together, a person becomes internally unshakable, calm amid chaos, rational amid madness, and strong amid weakness. The inner battlefield, reason versus emotion. The Stoics taught that human suffering often arises not from events themselves but from our interpretation of them. We label experiences as good or bad, and those judgments shape our emotions. Epictetus expressed this clearly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If someone insults you, the insult itself is neutral. Your pain arises from your belief that the insult has diminished you. But if you see it as merely words from another person, not an attack on your worth, the emotional sting disappears. This doesn't mean becoming numb. It means seeing reality without distortion. Stoic self-mastery, therefore, is less about fighting emotions and more about correcting false judgments that generate unnecessary suffering. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this daily in his journal. Today, I escaped anxiety. Or no, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. He realized that peace was not something to be found, but something to be created through disciplined perception. The Stoic mind in the modern world today, the average person lives in a world of endless stimulation. Notifications, advertisements, news, and opinions flood our senses every second. The result? A scattered mind and an unsteady heart. People are constantly reacting to what others say, to what they see online, to what they fear might happen. In this digital age, Stoicism offers a profound antidote. It reminds us that inner peace is not found by controlling the world, but by controlling our focus. The Stoic path encourages us to slow down, reflect, and choose deliberate responses instead of impulsive reactions. Imagine waking up each day with the mindset of a Stoic emperor, calm, centered, and prepared. You remind yourself, some people will be rude, some events will go wrong, but none of it will disturb my peace unless I allow it. That simple awareness transforms chaos into clarity. The discipline of practice, self-mastery, cannot be achieved through theory alone. It requires daily practice. The same way a warrior sharpens his sword or a musician tunes his instrument. The Stoics viewed philosophy not as intellectual entertainment, but as a way of life. Marcus Aurelius kept his meditations as a personal training journal, not for publication. Seneca wrote letters to Lucilius not to show off wisdom, but to remind himself to live by it. Epictetus taught his students that knowledge is useless unless transformed into habit. They practiced through exercises such as morning reflection, preparing the mind for challenges, evening review, evaluating actions and thoughts at the end of the day, negative visualization, imagining loss or hardship to strengthen gratitude and resilience, voluntary discomfort, training the mind to handle adversity calmly. Each exercise builds the muscles of the mind, turning philosophy into instinct. The journey, not the destination. The Stoic path is not about reaching a perfect state of enlightenment. It is about constant refinement. Even the wisest Stoic fails, doubts, and stumbles. Marcus Aurelius often scolded himself in his writings for losing patience or wasting time. Yet he never stopped striving. That is the spirit of Stoic self-mastery, progress, not perfection. To wake up each morning slightly wiser, calmer, and more self-controlled than yesterday is itself a victory. As Seneca beautifully said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The Stoic, through self-mastery, learns to suffer less in imagination by seeing life as it truly is, not as fear or desire paint it. True Stoicism is not measured by how serene you appear when things go smoothly, but by how you respond when life collapses around you. Every failure, every setback, every insult is an opportunity to test your strength. The Stoic does not pray for an easy path. He prays for the strength to walk a difficult one with dignity. When adversity strikes, he reminds himself, this too is material for virtue. To him, even pain becomes a teacher. The journey also demands patience, a deep acceptance that transformation happens slowly. One cannot uproot years of emotional habit overnight. The Stoics understood that the human soul is like a garden. Weeds will always return, and discipline is the gardener's daily work. Each reflection, each act of restraint, each moment of gratitude waters the soil of the mind. Over time, wisdom grows where anger once lived, and calmness replaces chaos. Moreover, the Stoic journey is solitary yet universal. No one can walk it for you, yet every human shares the same road. The same challenges faced by Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius, loss, insult, fear, and desire, are the same challenges that confront us today. Technology has changed, but the human heart has not. The Stoic student, therefore, stands in a timeless tradition of seekers who strive to live well amid imperfection. Finally, the path of Stoic mastery reminds us that failure itself is part of progress. To stumble is not to fall from grace, it is to see where we still lack control. Each misstep reveals the next lesson. A Stoic does not condemn himself for error, but studies it as a philosopher studies nature, calmly and curiously. Self-mastery, then, is not the absence of weakness, but the wisdom to recognize it without self-pity. As long as you return to the path, you are still moving toward freedom. The modern meaning of freedom. In a world obsessed with external freedom, freedom to buy, speak, travel, and express, Stoicism reminds us that the highest form of freedom is internal. You may have every privilege, yet if anger controls you, you are enslaved. You may face external limits, yet if your mind is disciplined, you are truly free. The Stoic path to self-mastery is thus the path to freedom of the soul, a liberation from fear, greed, resentment, and dependence on external validation. It is a return to the essence of being human, rational, virtuous, and serene. Modern society often confuses freedom with indulgence. We think that doing whatever we want, whenever we want, makes us free. But in truth, that is the fastest way to become a slave, to habits, impulses, and endless desire. The Stoics understood that true freedom is not the ability to satisfy every urge, but the strength to rise above them. A person who cannot say no to their cravings, distractions, or emotions is not free. They are merely a servant of their own passions. Freedom, for the Stoic, means mastery over the self, the power to choose virtue over vice, calmness over chaos, and purpose over pleasure. This idea of inner liberty is especially urgent in our time. The modern world offers more choices and comforts than any age before, yet it also produces more anxiety, emptiness, and disconnection. We have conquered distances, but not ourselves. We can communicate instantly with anyone in the world, yet many cannot sit alone in silence without restlessness. Stoicism speaks directly to this condition, reminding us that the mind at peace is the rarest luxury of all. The true philosopher needs no escape from the world because his freedom travels with him. It lives in his thoughts, his principles, and his inner calm. Furthermore, Stoic freedom is inseparable from responsibility. It does not mean ignoring the world's problems or withdrawing into indifference. It means acting rightly without being paralyzed by outcomes. The free person fulfills their duty not for applause or reward, but because it is the right thing to do. Epictetus taught that the truly free man is the one who acts according to nature and reason, not according to impulse or fear. Such a person may be surrounded by corruption, injustice, or temptation, yet their moral compass remains unshaken. They are self-governed, their principles their law. Lastly, the Stoic vision of freedom teaches us humility. It reminds us that freedom is not granted by society or taken by force. It is cultivated within. Every time you restrain anger instead of reacting, you reclaim freedom. Every time you choose patience over frustration, gratitude over greed, or clarity over confusion, you strengthen your sovereignty. You become a citizen not of a nation, but of the universe, guided by reason, bound by virtue, and free in spirit. That is the freedom Marcus Aurelius carried in his heart as emperor. That is the freedom Epictetus held as a slave. It is the same freedom available to each of us, here and now, if only we learn to master ourselves. The Stoic path to self-mastery is not a road that ends in perfection. It is a lifelong ascent toward clarity, strength, and peace. It teaches us that the greatest victory one can achieve is not over nations, rivals, or circumstances, but over one's own impulses and illusions. At its heart, Stoicism is a call to return to our rational nature, to live not as victims of circumstance, but as architects of our own character. The Stoic does not seek to escape the world, but to stand firmly within it, unshaken by its storms. Self-mastery is therefore not withdrawal. It is engagement with wisdom. It is meeting life head-on, with composure, integrity, and grace. In mastering ourselves, we learn that control does not mean domination. It means alignment. To live in harmony with reason and nature is to live freely. Every moment of anger resisted, every fear confronted, every desire moderated, is a small triumph in the inner empire we are called to rule. The Stoic path is also profoundly compassionate. When we discipline our own minds, we become gentler toward others. Understanding our own struggles helps us understand the struggles of all. Justice flows naturally from self-control, for the mind at peace has no need to harm or deceive. Even the greatest Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, admitted to their failures. They did not claim to be saints or gods, only students of virtue. Each day they returned to the practice, reminding themselves that philosophy is not about words, but about the work of the soul. In modern life, their message remains revolutionary. In an age of distraction, self-mastery is rare. In a culture of reaction, calmness is rebellion. To practice Stoicism is to reject the chaos of the world's noise and to build quiet strength within. It is to say, I will not be ruled by what I cannot control. I will rule myself. True freedom, then, is not found in endless choices or possessions. It is found in inner stillness, in the mind that remains its own master when all else falls apart. And so, the Stoic path continues, not as a distant ideal, but as a daily practice. Each sunrise offers a new opportunity to embody wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Each obstacle becomes a lesson, each emotion a mirror, each breath a reminder that peace begins not in the world, but within the walls of one's own mind. As Marcus Aurelius wrote more than 1,800 years ago, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one to walk the Stoic path is to become that good person, here and now, quietly powerful, deeply calm, and forever free. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value or a moment of reflection, remember to subscribe to Stillness and Steel. Here, we explore the strength found in calmness and the clarity discovered in discipline. Stay grounded, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.